Chapter 71, Heavenly Kings, Part 3. Jiang Shui calmly sat on the futon beside Lu Shu while everyone turned around and looked over to the source of the voice. That sentence just now felt like a thunder in this silent room, resonating loudly within all of them. People with Tier A aptitude could complete a cycle in just 3 hours while Tier Bs could do so in 1 day. Everyone had clearly understood now that this 1 day referred to just that one night of practice. It was possible to complete 2 cycles in a full day of 24 hours according to logic. However, after they had gone through a day's worth of daytime training, everyone understood the issue, that their training speed in school was far slower than what it was at home. Some of them roughly knew what was happening while some of them were still completely clueless. But what they couldn't figure out was, how did Jiang Shui complete 2 cycles of training in just 1 day? This had exceeded Lu Li's progress by 1-fold, and if they were to continue counting forward, perhaps there would only be that Tier A Kaokingi who had completed even more cycles. Lu Shu was elated as his deski could surprisingly startle others, even without making a commotion. No wonder he was so familiar with the theory of training in a blessed location. Perhaps he had found a great place to train at. Zifei looked around at all the students' facial expression and calmly said, "The training speed which I mentioned earlier was if it were to be done under standard, normal conditions. However, there are other conditions such as if one's household area was somewhere which was brimming with magical energy. Locations blessed with magical energy will not only allow your training progress to be multiplied but also affect the flora and faunas in the area. This is an undeniable fact, and at every one of these places, it is certainly a 100% that the energy in the area would cause an extraordinary phenomenon to happen to the flora and faunas." Student Jiang Shui probably had found a suitable area to train in, as his household area may have been a conducive environment, and such a thing is quite common. And that's why I had told all of you before that your training progress is not dependent on only your own aptitude. If someone with Tier F aptitude were to be fated for it, he could even progress drastically in one shot, Zifei explained as everyone fell silent. So even the places where you train at weren't all the same. During the silence, Zifei continued, "But it does not stop at only the location. There's also the resources available while training. I believe all of you remember those stones I was holding on to when I was imparting the training method to you. Those 3 glowing diamond-shaped stones are called magic stones. Each one of them contains an immense amount of magical energy within them, and they are easily absorbable by the user. Just by holding onto one of them while you train, perhaps even someone with Tier B aptitude may be able to catch up to the training speed of someone with Tier A aptitude. But of course, there's a limit to how many times you can use it. Other than that, there are also elixirs out there. Food which grows in that area can be utilized for many different reasons, and they are mostly used as elixirs. Good performing students would in time receive some of these, which are regularly proportioned by the country in order to aid your training journey. Of course, using these elixirs and magic stones do warrant some side effects, and as such, we won't be supplying them in large quantities in case of any mishaps to your training." In the end, everything boiled down to them telling us to be obedient, and they would then feed us with something good. They all understood that elixirs are partially considered as drugs, but what side effects could using these magical stones possibly have? Who knew what kind of quantities they would be distributing the goodies at? Since Lu Shu had Tier F aptitude, he could possibly forget about getting his hands on them. The entire country had over 10,000 students which were enrolled in the Daoyuan class, and it seemed like there was no way every single one of them would be able to receive something. At this moment, Lu Shu suddenly remembered something which was mentioned on the forum, that many caverns all around the place were being sealed off. Perhaps, could they be mining up all these magic stones? This diamond shape definitely did not seem like its original shape. Perhaps it was carved into such a prism since its shape allowed it to be measured more conveniently. Lu Li was originally the most outspoken, and he had the highest aptitude in the class. Thus, everyone gradually considered Lu Li to be the leader of their pack, as they preferred to gather around him, rather than actually obeying his commands. There was no way the other students would listen to his instructions since every one of them had their own independent personality and neither did they owe Lu Li any favors. So why should they even listen to him? There was no such logic. At the very most, everyone would patronize him and agree with him that he's FCKING awesome. There was no way he would remember them when he'd become successful in the future, and it was also impossible for them to feel as though they should stick together with Lu Li. But there was indeed quite a lot of people who gathered around him. It was rumored that the people around Lu Li had already exceeded those of Li Ke's, which irritated Lu Shu quite a bit, and he had almost wanted to make some friends of his own as well. However, with Jiang Shui showing off his dominance in the training field, everyone was dazzled by his surprising performance. All of them wished that if only this guy was an actual chick, how great that would be. Lu Li stayed calm as he pondered about the issue. It's not as if he was poor, and since he could improve his training conditions, why not go ahead with his plan? Upon reaching home tonight, he would have to discuss this matter with his wealthy father urgently. As to how he could find such a blessed location and reap the benefits of this extraordinary flora and fauna. It was at this point that many ordinary people realized something, that the rich were all trying to find these places where the vegetation had mutated. It was only up till the self-study period that Jiang Shui felt rather embarrassed. It's not that I meant to hide this from you, but the truth is that it's inconvenient for me to train together with you. The house that my family bought only has energy barely enough for just myself. However, Lu Shu did not really care about it. Keek, what level of energy does that house of yours possess? What I meant was compared to other places. He had asked this question purely to understand the rough idea of this concept. How abundant can the magical energy in one place get? Jiang Shui thought for a while before replying, the highest level in the entire city. Oh, Lu Shu clearly understood now. Firstly, he understood that Jiang Shui's family had someone who was an important figure, and secondly, he had also understood that his family was certainly quite wealthy. Lu Shu suddenly realized that being an important figure did not have to mean that the person was from a family with an old or secretive heritage. He could possibly be someone within the black coats. Lu Shu tried investigating. What department is teacher Zai Fei and Rust in? Could it perhaps be called the relevant department?